Okay, gang, I don't have time because my camera suddenly is low on power, but I lost the predictions for Elimination Chamber. Blackbird changing for a third disagreement didn't matter because he won the two we disagreed on before that. So I have to watch The Car, Road to Revenge. And I will set up my camera to charge while I watch it. But here's the description currently on my Netflix screen. I currently have it muted because it's doing that thing where it automatically plays the trailer. Trying to uphold justice in a lawless future, a DA is slain by cyberpunks, but a supernatural twist sends his car on a bloody quest for revenge. Different description than I've seen before, but it still gives you the gist of it. Not much more to say. I'll be back with a ramble. I've never done this before, so I have no idea how coherent it's going to be. But I'll see you guys soon. So, that was actually kind of disappointing. I mean, if the punishments are like this for me, I'm not going to mind not having the title as much. But with such a ridiculous concept, I was expecting something really ludicrous and over the top, and there were parts like that, but for the most part this movie was just kind of you know? I mean, it's bad, but it's not bad. I wasn't bored, which I mean, I'm always paranoid that this is going to become one of those memes for me, no one, nothing, and then me. Well, I have ADD, but I do have ADD. So, like, the worst thing any form of media for me can be is boring. And I was never bored by this movie, but I was never really entertained like I hoped. So, going in, I was going to say that I think the biggest problem with this movie is that the DA that gets killed and possesses his car, he's like just as bad, if not worse, than the bad guys. So it's like, well, I don't care whether or not he gets his revenge or not, because he's an asshole. He deserved to die in the torturous way in which they kill him even. Which actually, even then, that's not that bad. That's like the thing that surprised me this movie the most, is for such a ridiculous concept, it's actually really subdued. Case in point with the ADD, I'm going to be all over the freaking place. But yeah, I expected it to be really over the top, and there are parts that are over the top, but for the most part, it's really subdued. Like, the crime boss, main bad guy, I expected some over-the-top, chewing the scenery villain, and he was alright. He had a few good moments. Again, the DA himself was the creepiest villain in this thing, when he was human. But, yeah, like, he gets killed by three. Well, like, a part of, just like the scene where he's killed, it's kind of because there's one of the guys, he's this big, burly dude, looks like he should be in WWE or something, and he has a mechanical arm. And, the scene where they come and get him, the big guy, he knocks down the door with his mechanical arm and make it look like, oh, this guy's going to be a badass. No, like at one point when they're holding him down and torturing him for the MacGuffin chip that he has, he breaks away easily, throws the cyborg against the wall, starts punching him, and the cyborg can't get away. Not only that, the cyborg is the first one to die. And it's not and I think they were trying to play up when the possessed car is crushing him against the wall that he's using his cyborg arm and it's not working. But it didn't look like it was making any difference. I mean, they should, if they wanted to strip that this possessed car is more powerful than his cyborg arm, then you should have at least seen some pushback to show the cyborg arm has some strength to it. But no, it's just, it never gives, and he's crushed, and he's the first one to die. In fact, the 3 bad guys that kill the DA die within the first 30 minutes of the movie. So what's the rest of the movie about? Well, first, I really need to set up what I mean by this guy is probably worse than any of the villains. He is trying to get back with his ex, and this is actually one thing I do have to give the movie credit for, because as a writer, exposition is really hard. I can't think of any exposition that seemed forced. It all seemed to come really natural. Because he's trying to get back together with his ex, and he takes her to a fancy dinner and this whole thing comes up about how possessive and controlling and what a jerkwad he was to her. And like up until this point, this guy has come off as kind of a jerk. He gets the job done, but he's an a-hole. But after this date, he takes her home, and right as he's getting out of the car, he grabs her hand and says, "I will never let you go. You're the only, and you and I together are the only thing that makes sense in this twisted city, and I will not rest until we're together," or something. It's actually genuinely creepy and well done. Like I said, this movie has its moments. So I'm like, okay, immediately, wow, I want you to die now. And, and this it continues, like, after the funeral, she's in a car talking with her friend, and she's talking about all the horrible things that this guy did to her. Like, even when he always told me how to laugh, and even in the middle of telling him, "Fuck you," he was telling me to stand up straight. So, and, when the cop investigating the DA's murder goes to interview her the first time, she says, "Do you know he was monitoring your emails?" And her response was, "Yeah, that doesn't surprise me." So, this guy is bad. This guy's just bad news. And again, to the movie's credit, they don't try to present him as a hero, which I actually will get to in a minute. So after the 3 villains that actually killed him are taken care of, Daria, I'm actually going to try to refer to her by name, because she's actually really awesome. She's like the best part of this movie. The cop investigating the murder hook up. So the next time we see the car, he's trying to kill the cop. And then eventually he's gonna go take on the rest of the gang, which I swear the name kept changing, because I swear when they introduced the main bad guy, he was called the Knife, which makes sense. Because his whole thing was he surgically augments his troops, and, he butchers people and everything, he tortures people. So, okay, generic, but it makes sense. But then I think they started calling him the Knight, which is not only super generic, but doesn't make sense. And then I swear at one point in the movie he calls himself the Light. So, I don't know. Again, he looked like an over-the-top movie villain, but again, he was just really subdued. And that led to some of the problems with this movie. When one of the guys who killed the DA, when he died, he's in a car getting chased by the possessed car, and the bad guy's car goes off like a ledge or a cliff, and it tumbles down, but it's just like this really gentle tumble down. Like, it's just like, boom. Like, it just bumps slightly almost. So at most, I see this and I'm thinking, well, he's just going to come out with, like, he's holding his head or he's limping. Because even if he wasn't wearing his seatbelt or they don't have airbags in the future, that didn't look that damaging. But no, when we see him, his legs are mangled and he's clawing across the pavement. And it's just... So, yeah, but they never... And again, I guess this is to the film's credit, just that I expected with the name The Car, The Road to Revenge, I thought, he was going to be the hero of the story. But no, like, the first person he kills when he becomes a possessed car is, like, the impound worker who was just doing his job. In the final act, he's just running over innocent people. At one point, the bad guys trap the car and they tear it apart and light it on fire and break it to pieces, and they take it to a junkyard. And I guess this old guy who, I'm assuming he owns the junkyard because he says my junkyard, and otherwise it makes even less sense. But he finds the car and it's like, oh, this is the, I've already forgotten the name of the car, but it's, the car of the year. It's the latest model because this guy's a rich a-hole. And then he says some line about a samurai with carbon steel could cut you up with a sword. What you need is a donut car. Like, I'm messing up the part about the samurai and the carbon fiber sword, but it is some combination of those words. But I do remember what you need is a donut car, and he unveils this old junker car. And so I guess what happens is he takes all the stuff from the new car and puts it in the old car. So of course it comes back to life and runs over the old man. Because at first I think, for once he didn't kill someone because, unlike everybody else who gets attacked by the car, who gets crushed underneath it, he goes flipping over the car. Like it's very obviously a mannequin or something. But it's like, okay, well, he's alive, but no, after the car leaves whatever building they're in, they cut back to him, and his torso is ripped inside, and you see fake intestines. So you clearly see it's clearly supposed to be intestines, but it's also clearly fake. So I'm assuming he's dead. I'm not picking it, I promise. It's just really itchy. So, but yeah, let me talk about that. Like I said, there are some really good over-the-top moments. Like, there's this great, the guy... Okay, so the three guys who actually kill the DA are two men and a woman. And the knife, the knight, the light, whatever, he's addressing his troops and saying, they killed two of my perfect creations, go kill them. So is he sexist too, or is that a plot hole? I don't know. But there's this montage, or this chase sequence, where it's a bunch of other cars and motorcycles, and they're all chasing the car. And of course, as unbelievable as it is, they all get killed or stopped somehow. And this leads to two really great moments. Because while this is happening, Daria, the woman love interest, she gets kidnapped by two dirty cops, but they're idiots and she's awesome. She pulls out her massive revolver that she kept in her purse, gets the cops out, and like one of the cops even says, I thought you patted her down. It's like, you didn't check her fucking purse. And she gets them out of the car. She tells them to lay down on the ground, on the road. And like, as soon as they do that, the car runs them over, like completely pancakes them. Then, spins around, and the motorcade that was chasing it just stop, and there's like a stare down or something, and then the car just decides, fuck gravity. I got these cars here. Runs at them, turns this way, and just decides to flip like this over the cars. And as it does this, it decapitates everyone not in a vehicle, because it's the cliche of there's some people in pickup trucks and they have guns, so they are decapitated. So that's one of the moments, like when my roommate, whenever he watches this, if he heard me laughing, that was one of the moments. So yeah, I was expecting a whole movie of stuff like that, and instead we got like 5 moments like that. So this, it's not a so bad it's good movie. It's a so bad it's occasionally entertaining movie. Like I said, I wasn't bored. And, but yeah, they're like I said, and when we get one of those movies in one of those over-the-top moments, like within the first 10 minutes or so, because, DDA, they arrest someone, they put him on trial, and he's sentenced to death. And we don't, like, cut to a jail several days later, like they said, okay, they don't say we sentence him to death, we give him the maximum penalty. So this tube, like in the middle of the courtroom, comes down, and the guy is looking around freaking out, and suddenly it's red, because he's exploded. They just killed him right there in the courtroom. Like, they wasted no time. And like another moment of that, just following off of that is while the DA is being interviewed by the press, we see there's a couple shots of the assistant DA holding a bloody garbage bag, like a clear medical waste bag that looks like it's probably tomato juice or something, but the implication is clear. So yeah, I wanted a movie full of stuff like that, and I was just like, oh, well, okay. But like Daria is awesome. There's she's just, it's like the fight scenes aren't great, but they do well enough at showing that she's a badass. Like, they think she has the microchip, so the bad guys come to kill her. And they kill her friend who's staying with her. And they're saying, oh, we're here, we're invading you. And she just immediately pulls out aforementioned revolver and starts shooting. And whatever bad guy was like, oh shit, and he runs away. Again, I promise I'm not picking. I just can't stop myself from itching because it itches really bad. And I'm terribly sorry. And then like another moment is like, the main villain is trying to convert her to the dark side. She's playing along because she's not an idiot. If she says no, they're going to kill her. So they bring the assistant DA who was, working for them the whole time. And she makes it look like she's going to torture them, but, she spins it around and escapes. And the main bad guy goes, oh, how disappointing, kill her. And whatever minion he's talking to just goes, finally! So, that got a laugh out of me. But yeah, it's basically a slasher movie with a car, which again, sounds cooler than the final product really is. I almost got frustrated with the movie because, like I said, the car decided, nah, fuck gravity. And it looks like how they defeated it was tricking it into ramming in a forklift, lifting the front wheels off the ground so it couldn't get away, and then letting a bomb explode. So I was like, really? That's how you beat it when it decided it can ignore gravity? But like right as they're wheeling Daria into the ambulance, it comes back out and it's missing door panels and everything, and it somehow pulls it into her and pulls her into it. And it's going to drive them off a cliff because if he can't have her, no one can. And, she pulls out the PC because it's a future car, it's shown to have technology. And it stops right before it drives them both off a cliff. She gets out, pushes the rest off the cliff, walks away. And the final shot of the movie, and I fast-forwarded through the credits to see if there was an after-credits stinger, and there wasn't. It's sitting at the bottom, and the lights go on. And that's the movie. So I'm not really much more to say about it, because I was just... I mean, I can't recommend it even, really. Like, if you want to see those bits, I'm sure you can find them on YouTube, but I don't know if the movie itself is sitting through to get to them. Because, I'm one of those guys, we could get together with a group of friends, watch a terrible movie, and just have a blast making fun of it. And maybe it would be better if we did that, but I just feel like there's not that much material. Like, if you want something like that, watch Velocipaster. Watch the Free Willy 90s cartoon. Yes, that's a thing. I mean, there's just really not much to say. Like, I'm even thinking of a few other things I can mention, but I don't know if they're worth mentioning. And I don't know how much I'm rambling. I just know my battery bar has gone down like a full bar, so I feel like I should be wrapping it up soon. But yeah, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. So, I mean, yeah, that's the car, Road to Revenge. If you decide to watch it for Daria. She's great. Like, the cop, his last name is Rayner. Oh, okay, there's a couple things worth mentioning. It's plot convenience, but it's, like, unlike the exposition, it's not done well. Like, they find the body of the cyborg guy I was talking about, and one of the crime scene investigators goes, what if this has something to do with the DA? I'm like, where'd you get that come from? Where'd that come from? That made no sense. And Yeah, and again, it's established early on that this guy's an a-hole. It's when they first find his body, it's like, well, every criminal in the city wanted him dead. So when Rayner's first investigating Daria, he's just like, I feel like there's something more to this. I'm like, well, why would you think that? There's also a list that this is clearly a professional hit. I'm like, it's like okay, I'm not a hitman, but and these guys weren't professional. I mean, they mentioned security footage, but that never comes up again. But these guys made no attempt to hide who they were. They were not subtle. I feel like a professional hit would be like a sniper. You find him dead face down on his desk, not the disaster they found his room in. But yeah, like compared to everything else, those are nitpicks, I guess. So I don't know. I mean, in terms of this being a punishment for losing pay-per-view predictions, I don't feel punished. So I don't know. I wanted something more than this movie didn't deliver. And like maybe it would have worked better if it was a group of friends making fun of it, but I just feel like there wasn't enough material. Watch it if you're quarantined like the rest of us and you just need to kill 90 minutes. But yeah, I hope this video was entertaining at least. See you guys later. And Blackbird, I'm coming for my title. Yeah. Grr.